Since June 2018, at least 8 American tourists have reportedly died in similar unexpected ways while traveling abroad in the Dominican Republic, a nation located on the Caribbean island of Hispaniola. What exactly is going on here? Let's get into it. On June 2018, Yvette, a 51-year-old woman, succumbed to a heart attack during a trip to the Dominican Republic with her fiancé. Yvette had drank from her hotel room's minibar, took a shower, and got ready to relax for the evening. She died shortly the next morning. Yvette's sister said, "There is something dirty at the bottom of all this. She was 51 years of age, relatively healthy, no reason for her to go on vacation and just die so suddenly." On July 2018, David, a 45-year-old man from Maryland, died during his vacation to the Dominican Republic. According to an autopsy report, David died from a heart attack and pulmonary edema. His wife was suspicious. She said that she does not believe that it is a coincidence that so many other American tourists have died of heart attacks or pulmonary edema recently in the country. On April 2019, Robert, a 67-year-old man, a resident of Turlock, California, was attending a wedding with 24 members of his family in the Dominican Republic. After the wedding, he became ill at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Punta Cana on April 12th. Tommy, his son-in-law, told the hotel that Robert became sick after drinking scotch from the minibar. He died shortly on April 14, 2019. On May 2019, Miranda had checked into the Bahia Principal Resort in the La Ramona. She was attending a wedding anniversary and excitedly took pictures in the hotel room that she shared with her husband, Dan. Shortly from that moment, she went to grab a drink from the minibar and suddenly felt ill. Shortly afterward, she collapsed and died. On the day of her death on May 25th, the preliminary autopsy by the Attorney General's Office of the Dominican Republic stated that under the toxicology reports that she suffered from a heart attack, pulmonary edema, and respiratory failure. The death still remains under investigation. On May 2019, Nathaniel, a 63-year-old man, and Cynthia, a 49-year-old woman, checked into the Bahia Principal La Ramona Resort in the Dominican Republic. Days later, they missed their scheduled checkout time on May 30th. When hotel employees checked on the couple, they were shocked to find that they were dead in the hotel room. According to the Dominican authorities, the couple had internal bleeding, including in their pancreas, and had enlarged heart and cirrhosis of the liver, both signs of significant pre-existing disease. It was also reported that they had fluid in their lungs as well. They are still awaiting completed toxicology results. On June 10, 2019, Layla, a 53-year-old woman, died in her hotel room in Excellence Resorts in Punta Cana. A heart attack was given as a reason for her death. Layla's son expressed doubts over the hotel's claims of natural causes. "I truly believe if she was anywhere else in the world besides the Dominican Republic, she'd be alive right now." On June 2019, Joseph, a 55-year-old man, traveled to the Dominican Republic. Joseph's family stated that he traveled to the Dominican Republic many times and was in overall good health. At the Terra Linda Resort in Sosa, friends of his stated that he complained about being hot at the pool. He went to shower that night and rested and was found dead the next day. The U.S. tourists who have been found deceased in the Dominican Republic in the past year stayed at a few different resorts located in the resort town Punta Cana and across the Dominican Republic. 2 were at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Punta Cana: David, who died in July 2018, and Robert, who died on April 14th. 4 died at various Bahia Principal, a chain of resorts. Miranda was found dead at the luxury Bahia Principal Bougainville Resort on May 25th. Nathaniel and Cynthia were also found dead at Grand Bahia Principal La Ramona on May 30th. Yvette also died at Bahia Principal Hotel in Punta Cana in June 2018. Layla was found deceased in Excellence Resorts in Punta Cana as well. And lastly, Joseph was separately found dead in Terra Linda Resort in Sosa. Thus, these deaths are not just happening at one resort, but instead happening at multiple resorts miles apart. Lawrence Kobolinski, a forensic science professor, stated that nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea were consistent with methanol poisoning. Also, the CDC reports that methanol poisoning can have adverse effects on the heart and can lead to respiratory failure. Overall, methanol is not safe for humans, but how are these tourists getting methanol poisoning? What I found was very interesting. The International Alliance for Responsible Drinking released a report estimating that illicit alcohol made up for 29% of total alcohol in the Dominican Republic. The alcohol that the tourists are drinking at the minibar or whichever location may contain illicit alcohol. Illicit alcohol is alcohol not regulated and does not undergo sufficient quality control. Kobolinski said, adulterated alcohol is usually methanol added to alcohol or just plain methanol, which is very, very toxic. For quick background, methanol is formed in very small amounts during fermentation, the process by which alcohol is made from plant products like grape juice or cereal grains. But home distillation to make these types of alcohols concentrates the levels of both ethanol and methanol. Commercially made beer are very safe because manufacturers use technology specifically designed to ensure methanol is separated from the ethanol. But homebrew systems are typically not so technically advanced, which makes the separation more difficult. And definitely, a major driving factor for illicit alcohol is the low prices, where you have locally produced unregulated beverages which have significantly lower prices, which make them more accessible than their commercial counterparts. Leanne Jacobs, a food microbiologist in the Department of Food Science at North Carolina State University, said exposure to an insecticide chemical known as organophosphate could result in severe vomiting and diarrhea, but in dire cases, it could cause a cardiac crisis. The CDC reports that some side effects also include sweating, salivation, urination, and hypotension. In addition, muscle weakness and fasciculations can occur. On January 2018, Doug and his wife Susie were staying at the Grand Bahia Principal La Ramona and got sick with fevers, nausea, cold sweats, diarrhea, and fatigue. Doug said he didn't drink alcohol on the trip, but he did notice a moldy and mildewy smell like the AC or filter had not been cleaned. Later, the family doctors determined the couple had been exposed to organophosphates, a class of insecticides. They now suspect insecticides were spread through the hotel's air conditioning system. The couple remembered a maintenance person spraying palm plants that covered air conditioning units just outside their room. They are always constantly out there taking care of the plants. We saw them out there with bug sprayers. With everything that happened in the last year, it is no wonder the FBI is investigating the claims and the recent anomalies. This mystery leads me to wonder that since this is happening in several areas around Dominican Republic, that this isn't just one hotel that have these occurrences. By being spread out in different locations, there must be a systematic entry point where throughout the hotel system that multiple tourists can be affected. With regards to methanol poisoning, this sounds like a really clear reason, but the only thing that is making this answer debatable is the fact that not all the tourists that drink from the minibar get sick in any way. Now, it is known that ethanol mixed with methanol can slow the process of digesting of these substances. So it can be reasoned that these guests might be drinking excessively to really obtain the effects, or that batch that they drank obtained more methanol contamination than other batches. With regards with organophosphate, this seems more isolated than systematic across the Dominican Republic. Yes, insecticides may be sprayed throughout the hotel lawn, but to enter the air conditioning system either has to be purposeful or accidental. With so many factors included, organophosphate most likely did affect the tourist couple, but probably will not account for a wide array of hotels with creating health hazards. Only time can tell at this point. However, methanol poisoning is most likely the most concrete reason that can be substantiated based on the symptoms and steps the tourists stated before the deaths occurred.